I was lying on the cold bathroom floor, my stomach on fire, clutching my side in agony. The room spun as my ulcer sent waves of pain through my body. My wife Alicia stepped right over me like I was nothing but a minor inconvenience. She rolled her eyes and sneered. "If you are going to die, do it quietly. The neighbors already think you are pathetic." I tried to push myself up, but collapsed back down. She just flushed the toilet, walked out, and slammed the door. Our marriage had not always been this way. Where did all the love go? If you are watching this right now, drop a comment letting me know where you are tuning in from, and hit subscribe if you have ever felt invisible to someone who should have cared about you. Our story began 5 years ago. I was a dedicated software developer at Nexus Technologies, one of the most prestigious tech companies in Seattle. The work was demanding but rewarding. I specialized in cybersecurity protocols and took pride in protecting sensitive information for millions of users. My colleagues respected me, and my supervisors valued my contributions. Life seemed perfect when I met Alicia at a corporate event where her marketing firm was presenting new promotional strategies. Alicia captivated me instantly. Her confident smile and sharp intelligence made her stand out in any room. She worked as a marketing executive for a rival tech company, and her ambitious nature matched mine. We connected over late-night conversations about technology trends and dreams for the future. Within 6 months, we were married in a small but elegant ceremony by Lake Washington. The first year of marriage was everything I had hoped for. We bought a beautiful 2-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. Our careers were thriving, and we complemented each other perfectly. I would cook elaborate dinners while she planned weekend getaways. We talked about eventually starting a family once we had achieved certain career milestones. The problems began subtly. My project deadlines grew more demanding, requiring longer hours at the office. Alicia initially understood bringing dinner to my workplace and offering encouragement, but gradually her understanding transformed into resentment. "Your company has plenty of other developers, Jamar," she would say, arms crossed in our kitchen. "They do not need you working until midnight." Every Tuesday. Around our second anniversary, Alicia decided to leave her marketing position to pursue entrepreneurial dreams. She wanted to start a luxury brand consultancy firm targeting tech executives. I supported her decision completely, even though it meant our household income would temporarily decrease. I believed in her abilities and wanted her to feel fulfilled. Unfortunately, her business struggled to gain traction. Potential clients kept postponing meetings or choosing established firms over her startup. Each rejection wounded her pride deeply. I would come home to find her staring at her laptop, glass of wine in hand, scrolling through success stories of her former colleagues on social media. Financial strain followed, despite my good salary. Alicia began spending more extravagantly than before. Designer clothes, expensive restaurant dinners with potential clients, and luxury spa retreats became common expenses. When I gently suggested budgeting, she took it as criticism of her business failures. "At least let me enjoy something if I have to live with constant disappointment," she snapped one evening, slamming our bedroom door. As my work hours increased and her business floundered, we grew more distant. The intimate conversations that once filled our evenings disappeared. Shared meals became rare. I started experiencing health issues from the stress and irregular lifestyle. Sleep became elusive. I frequently skipped meals while racing to meet deadlines, surviving on coffee and energy drinks. 6 months before the bathroom incident, my doctor warned me about potential ulcers during a routine checkup. "Your stomach lining is showing significant irritation, Mr. Wilson," he cautioned, reviewing my test results. "You need to manage your stress levels and maintain regular eating habits, or you will develop serious ulcers." I shared this concern with Alicia that evening over a rare dinner together. Her response was dismissive. "Everyone gets stressed, Jamar. Take some antacids like normal people." That cold dismissal should have been a warning sign, but I attributed her reaction to her own struggles and frustrations. Meanwhile, Alicia had found a new social circle through her attempts at networking. These were mostly wives of wealthy tech executives who spent their days shopping and attending charity luncheons. Their influence made her increasingly status conscious. Our home neighborhood and my mid-level management position no longer seemed adequate compared to their mansions and executive husbands. Small incidents of neglect became a disturbing pattern. She forgot my 34th birthday completely. When I mentioned it the following day, she shrugged and said, "You did not want to party anyway." She dismissed my growing health concerns as exaggeration. "You always were dramatic about small discomforts," she would say with a patronizing tone that made me question my own experiences. 2 months before my collapse, I received a promotion to lead security architect. Under normal circumstances, this would have been cause for celebration. The position came with a significant salary increase, but required even more demanding hours during the transition period. My stomach pain worsened, but I ignored it, determined to prove myself in the new role. My attempts to reconnect with Alicia failed repeatedly. I scheduled dinner reservations at her favorite restaurants, only to eat alone when she texted last-minute cancellations. I bought tickets to shows she had mentioned wanting to see, but she would invite her friends instead of joining me. The emotional distance between us expanded into a chasm. One evening I borrowed her tablet to check my email while my phone charged. A message notification appeared from someone named Taylor. I did not intend to invade her privacy, but the preview text caught my attention. "Lol at Jamar, thinking that promotion is impressive." Confused and hurt, I opened the conversation to find Alicia and her friends mocking my appearance, career achievements, and even our home. "Trapped in middle management, with a middle-class husband," she had written, followed by crying, laughing emojis. Alicia began taking weekend trips without me, claiming they were networking opportunities. When she returned, she would be distant and critical, finding fault with everything from how I organized the refrigerator to my choice of clothing. I grew increasingly isolated, withdrawing from friends to avoid revealing the truth about our deteriorating marriage. As my health declined, I became reluctant to share my concerns with her. Why give her more ammunition for ridicule? I started sleeping in the guest bedroom, telling myself it was to avoid disturbing her with my frequent trips to the bathroom during painful nights. The morning everything changed began like many others. I woke up at 5:30 with intense stomach pain that had kept me awake most of the night. The discomfort had evolved from a dull ache to searing agony that radiated through my abdomen. When I stood up from bed, dizziness forced me to grab the nightstand for support. I made it to the kitchen and tried to prepare a simple breakfast, hoping some plain toast might help. Alicia came downstairs dressed in expensive leisure wear, her face perfectly made up despite the early hour. "I am meeting the girls for brunch and shopping," she announced, not bothering to ask about my visible discomfort. As I leaned against the counter, breathing heavily, "I think I need to see a doctor today," I ventured cautiously. "The pain is worse than ever." She rolled her eyes dramatically. "Again with this. Take an antacid. I cannot cancel on Brittany again. Her husband just bought her that new Mercedes." She checked her reflection in her compact mirror, completely disinterested in my condition. After she left, the pain intensified to an unbearable level. I tried reaching for the medicine cabinet but collapsed in the bathroom, my legs giving out as waves of nausea overtook me. The cold tile floor provided minimal relief as I curled around my abdomen, sweat beading on my forehead. The room spun in nauseating circles. I managed to reach my phone and texted Alicia, "Need help. Very sick. Please come home." 20 minutes later, her response appeared. "Handle it yourself. I am networking. Call an Uber if you need a doctor. Do not embarrass me by calling an ambulance to our neighborhood." Hours passed in a haze of pain and semi-consciousness on that bathroom floor. I drifted in and out, too weak to reach the phone again to call for help. The pain had localized to my right side, sharp and persistent. Even shallow breathing hurt. When I heard the front door open in the late afternoon, relief washed over me. Despite everything, I believed Alicia would help once she saw my condition. I heard her heels clicking on the hardwood floors, then on the bathroom tile. Through blurred vision, I saw her designer shoes stop right beside my head. "Alicia," I whispered. "I think I need to go to the hospital." She stepped directly over me to reach the mirror as if I were merely an inconvenient obstacle. "If you are gonna die, do it quietly. The neighbors already think you are pathetic," she said, coldly applying fresh lipstick. In that moment, lying there in excruciating pain while my wife casually fixed her makeup, I had a moment of clarity about how far we had fallen. This woman had once held my hand through a thunderstorm because she knew I hated lightning. Now she would not even help me during a medical emergency. I attempted to pull myself up using the bathtub edge, but another wave of pain sent me crashing back to the floor. Alicia sighed, dramatically, flushed the toilet, as if completing her only business there, walked out, and slammed the door behind her. The sound of that slamming door awakened something in me. Determination, perhaps, or simple survival instinct. I dragged myself across the floor, using every ounce of strength to reach the counter and pull myself upright. The face in the mirror was barely recognizable. Pale with dark circles under bloodshot eyes, I looked like a ghost of myself. Somehow, I located my car keys and stumbled to the garage. Driving myself to the hospital was dangerous in my condition. But Alicia had left me no choice. Every bump in the road sent lightning bolts of pain through my abdomen. My vision blurred repeatedly, forcing me to pull over twice to avoid an accident. At one point, I nearly hit a streetlight when a particularly severe spasm caused me to jerk the steering wheel. The hospital emergency room was crowded when I staggered in, clutching my side. "Help," I managed to say to the triage nurse, before collapsing into a wheelchair a security guard quickly provided. The admission process passed in a blur of questions and vital sign checks. Severe abdominal pain. History of stomach issues. No one could bring me. I answered mechanically as they moved me to an examination room. The doctor appeared concerned after examining my abdomen. "Mr. Wilson, your symptoms suggest a perforated ulcer. We need to get you into surgery immediately. The stomach acid is leaking into your abdominal cavity, which can cause life-threatening infection." They tried calling Alicia multiple times, but each call went straight to voicemail. A kind nurse named Lisa stayed by my side during preparations for surgery, offering reassurance when she saw my phone lighting up with unanswered outgoing calls to my wife. "Is there someone else we can contact for you?" she asked gently. I shook my head, the reality of my isolation hitting harder than the physical pain. How had I allowed myself to become so disconnected from everyone, except the person who cared least about my well-being? Dr. Thomas, the surgeon, visited briefly before the operation. An older man with compassionate eyes, he reviewed my chart and then looked at me directly. "I had a wife like yours once," he said, quietly surprising me. "Always too busy when I needed her. Always had something more important than my health or happiness. It took me a perforated appendix and her no-show at the hospital to realize I deserved better." He patted my shoulder. "Focus on getting well now. The other decisions can come later." As the anesthesia began taking effect, with the surgical team preparing to repair the damage my neglected health had suffered, a moment of clarity washed over me. Dr. Thomas was right. I deserved better than this half-life of emotional abandonment. If I survived, things would have to change. I awoke in the recovery room, disoriented and sore. The clock on the wall showed 7:30 in the evening, but I had lost track of whether a day had passed. A different nurse checked my vital signs and explained that the surgery had gone well. "The doctor found a significant perforation in your stomach lining. Another few hours, and the infection could have been life-threatening." What struck me most was the absence of visitors. No worried spouse pacing the hallway or holding my hand. The room contained only medical equipment and the essential sterility of a hospital environment. I was completely alone. A hospital social worker visited the next morning. Miss Jenkins, a woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor, asked questions about my home situation. "Do you have someone who can help during your recovery? You will need assistance for at least the first week." When I hesitated, she added, "We have resources for patients in complicated domestic situations." She left her card on my bedside table. Some decisions are easier when you are not in crisis mode. But when you are ready, call me. Alicia finally appeared 2 days after my surgery. She walked in texting on her phone, barely looking up as she took the visitor chair. "You could have waited until after my charity luncheon to have a medical emergency," were her first words. "No. How are you? No apology for being unreachable." "I had emergency surgery for a perforated ulcer," I said flatly. "The doctor said I could have died." She glanced up momentarily. "But you did not. So it all worked out." She then held up her phone to take a selfie with me in the hospital bed behind her. Do I look appropriately concerned in this? I want to post an update about my brave husband. I watched in disbelief as she typed a heartfelt caption about spending every moment by his side during this terrifying ordeal. The disconnect between her social media persona and reality was staggering. As she positioned herself for another photo, I realized I was making a decision without even speaking it aloud. This performance of care for online validation, while showing none in reality, was the final confirmation. Our marriage was already over. I just needed to make it official. When discharge day arrived, Alicia was too busy to drive me home. The hospital arranged transportation while she was at a spa appointment that apparently could not be rescheduled. I arrived at an empty house with a paper bag of pain medications and strict dietary instructions. The following weeks were filled with awkward tension. Alicia maintained physical distance, as if my illness might be contagious. She spent most evenings out with friends, leaving me to manage my recovery alone. When I checked our joint credit card statement online, I discovered she had gone on a shopping spree while I was hospitalized. $3,000 at designer boutiques and a day spa, all charged the day after my surgery. A concerned call from my parents revealed more troubling information. "Alicia told us you were just having some routine tests," my mother said. "We had no idea you had emergency surgery until your cousin saw something on Facebook." Why would she downplay something so serious? My best friend Marcus visited when Alicia was out. After seeing my condition and the empty refrigerator she had left me with despite my dietary restrictions, he was furious. "This is not right, Jamar. You know that, right? This goes beyond a rough patch. This is neglect." Marcus offered his guest room for my recovery, and for the first time, I seriously considered leaving. "Think about it," he said. "My door is open whenever you need it." That evening, I made my first secret call to a divorce attorney. The consultation was brief, but informative. I would need to secure financial records and establish separate accounts before making any announcements. While Alicia was at a dinner party, I drove to my bank and opened a new account, transferring a portion of my latest paycheck. Over the next few weeks, I methodically prepared while pretending everything was normal. I joined a support group for people recovering from emotionally abusive relationships, attending meetings during my lunch breaks. The stories I heard mirrored my own experience in disturbing ways, confirming what I had begun to recognize about my marriage. I reconnected with old friends Alicia had subtly isolated me from over the years. Coffee with former colleagues revealed how much I had withdrawn from meaningful connections at her influence. "We tried inviting you for years," my former project partner admitted. "Eventually, we assumed you just were not interested anymore." At my follow-up appointment, Dr. Thomas confirmed what I had suspected. "Stress is a significant contributor to ulcers," he explained, reviewing my recovery progress. "Particularly the kind of chronic stress that comes from difficult personal relationships." When he asked about my home situation, I was honest for the first time. "I am planning my exit," I admitted. The ulcer was a wake-up call in more ways than one. He nodded approvingly. Sometimes our bodies know what our minds are reluctant to admit. Take care of both going forward. I began improving both physically and mentally. Regular meals, proper sleep, and reduced work hours helped heal my body. Therapy sessions and renewed friendships nurtured my long-neglected emotional health. I negotiated a more sustainable workload with my understanding supervisor, who had experienced health issues from overwork himself. A meeting with a financial advisor helped me assess the potential impact of divorce. We were financially entangled, but not irreparably so. The house would likely need to be sold, but my new position provided enough income for a fresh start. The final piece fell into place unexpectedly. While searching for an important tax document in our home office, I found hotel receipts that did not match Alicia's reported whereabouts during her networking weekends. Further investigation revealed text messages between her and Jackson, a wealthy business acquaintance, whose wife was conveniently out of town during those same weekends. I discussed the discovery with my therapist, who helped me plan a calm, controlled confrontation. "This is not about vengeance," she reminded me. "This is about reclaiming your narrative and setting yourself free." Exactly 2 months after my hospital stay, I prepared a simple dinner at home. Alicia seemed surprised by the invitation, as we rarely ate together anymore. I had timed everything carefully. The divorce papers were prepared. A new apartment had been secured. Essential belongings had been quietly relocated. This conversation would be the final chapter of our marriage. "You seem different lately," Alicia remarked as we sat down to eat. More distant. The irony of her statement almost made me laugh. "I have been doing a lot of thinking since my hospitalization," I replied calmly. "Are you still hung up on that?" "It was just an ulcer. People get those all the time." I maintained my composure. "It was a perforated ulcer that required emergency surgery, Alicia. One that might have been prevented with proper care, both from me and from you." Her expression hardened. "So now your health problems are my fault?" "No," I said, "but your response to them revealed a lot." I placed the hotel receipts and printed text messages between her and Jackson on the table. "Just as these do." Her face paled. "You went through my private things. That is invasion of privacy." "Is that really your concern right now? Not the fact that you have been having an affair while I was working myself into the hospital trying to provide the lifestyle you demanded?" For once, Alicia had no immediate retort. Her mouth opened and closed several times before she whispered, "It was not serious. Jackson was just attention when you were always working. And the night you stepped over me on the bathroom floor, was that just needing attention too? Or when you told me to die quietly so I would not embarrass you in front of the neighbors?" Tears filled her eyes, but experience had taught me to be wary of their authenticity. I did not mean that she insisted. I was stressed and frustrated with my business failures. Seeing you succeed while I kept failing made me bitter. So you punished me for supporting you, for believing in you when you wanted to quit your job, for working overtime to cover our expenses when your business struggled. Her anger flared. "You have no idea what it is like to be married to someone who makes you feel inadequate every day just by existing. Your perfect job, your perfect reputation, everyone thinking you are so wonderful, while I am just the failing wife. I never once made you feel that way, Alicia. That was all in your head. I championed your dreams, defended your decisions to our friends, covered for your spending habits, and loved you through every setback. And in return, you mocked me to your friends, neglected me when I was seriously ill, and cheated on me with a man whose only attractive quality is his bank account." She broke down then, not in controlled tears, but in heaving sobs that seemed to come from somewhere authentic. I know, she admitted between gasps. "I know what I became. I hate myself for it. I hate who I am around those women. I look in the mirror sometimes and do not recognize myself." I felt a twinge of sympathy but remained resolute. "I am sorry you are struggling, and I hope you get help. But I cannot be part of this anymore." I slid the divorce papers across the table. "I have moved most of my things to a new place. I will be staying with Marcus until the paperwork is finalized." "You cannot just throw away 5 years of marriage," she protested, suddenly panicked. "I will change. I will go to therapy. I will be better. This is not a negotiation, Alicia. This is me choosing my health and well-being for the first time in years." I stood up from the table. I deserve better than lying alone on a bathroom floor while my wife steps over me. The weeks that followed were challenging but affirming. Alicia vacillated between desperate attempts at reconciliation and vindictive anger. She showed up at my workplace with flowers one day and threatened to ruin my reputation the next. Her parents called to apologize for her behavior, revealing she had hidden the reality of our relationship from them as well. She launched a brief social media campaign, painting herself as the victim of an uncaring husband, but friends who had witnessed her behavior at the hospital quickly defended me. To my surprise, colleagues and acquaintances offered support I had not expected. "We always wondered how you could be married to her," admitted one coworker. "She made scenes at company events and treated you terribly in public." I completed my recovery in my peaceful apartment across town. The space was smaller than our house, but filled with a tranquility I had forgotten could exist in a home. No walking on eggshells, no bracing for criticism, no performative affection for social media posts. 6 months after my hospitalization, I had transformed both physically and mentally. Regular exercise and proper nutrition had restored my health. My new role at work featured better boundaries and more reasonable hours. Weekend hiking trips and cooking classes filled my free time with joy instead of dread. An unexpected friendship developed with Lisa, the kind nurse from the hospital. We met randomly at a farmer's market, and her genuine interest in my recovery led to coffee, then occasional dinners. Unlike my relationship with Alicia, this connection developed slowly with mutual respect and authentic communication. Whether it evolved into something romantic or remained a meaningful friendship, it represented the healthy relationships I now welcomed into my life. My final meeting with Alicia took place at our lawyer's office. The house had sold and the proceeds were being divided according to our agreement. She looked smaller, somehow less intimidating than the woman who had once dominated my existence. "I truly am sorry, Jamar," she said as we signed the final papers. "I regret everything I said and did. That person was not who I wanted to be." "I believe you," I replied sincerely, "and I hope you find your way to someone better too. Just not with me." As we parted ways legally and personally, I felt no triumph or vindication, just peaceful closure. The following day, I received an unexpected letter from Dr. Thomas, the surgeon who had operated on me. "Congratulations on your recovery, both medical and personal," he wrote. "Not everyone finds the courage to heal completely. The journey from that cold bathroom floor to where I stand today taught me lessons I will carry forever. I learned to recognize the warning signs I had ignored. I discovered that self-advocacy is essential in both health and relationships. I found that sometimes strength means asking for help when you need it most. I built a new support system based on mutual respect rather than obligation. I came to understand that leaving a toxic situation can be the ultimate act of self-love. Most importantly, I learned that sometimes you need to break completely to heal properly." Have you ever had to make a difficult choice for your own well-being? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more stories of personal transformation. Your support means everything as I continue sharing these difficult but important journeys. Thank you for listening, and remember, you always deserve people who would never step over you when you are down.